welcome everyone to this week's Big 30 Sports Showcase Spotlight. On tonight's show, Sam Wilson from the Olean Times Herald is on to break down all of this week's New York football games, plus JJ Michaels from Laurel Media is here to talk some PA football in the District 9 area. Plus, we interview Port Allegany's Aiden Bliss and Portville's Jake Ziegler. We'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors.
Hey sports fans, I'm Dr. Freeman here at Alleghany Mountain Wellness and Alleghany Mountain Fitness. If you're dealing with some of those nagging injuries during your sports season, or you're just a spectator that's tired of a tired back while you're sitting in the stands, come see me for all your chiropractic needs. I've got all kinds of tools to deal with those sore muscles, to get rid of those aches and pains, get you back in the game.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Joining me now, he's been a multiple Big 30 Showcase Spotlight Athlete of the Week this year. You all know him. He's a household name now in these parts of the country. Port Allegany stud running back Aiden Bliss. Aiden, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. I can't believe, we're heading into the last week of the regular season, and you guys are coming off a big win over Union AC Valley, a battle of two previous undefeated 8-0 teams. Talk to us about the game. What was it like? How much fun did you guys have? You guys faced a little adversity too, trailing 7-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was great. It was a really fun game. Like you said, a little bit of adversity. It was kind of everyone had to come together and really tie their work boots up and say, let's go. I think our team made a lot of improvements that we haven't been able to make. You can't really make those unless you're in a game where, you have to win. That's the mindset in our mind during that game is we have to. And obviously that's not the case, and no one's pushing that on us other than ourselves, but it's expected of us by ourselves, and we're going to hold each other accountable. And that's kind of what the mindset was. So we locked in and said, let's go. And we got it done.
Okay. Has the pressure been kind of mounting here for you guys the last few weeks, to try to, keep the perfect record intact?
I think it comes more from like fans or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like even noticing, like we wouldn't really know if not, but I wouldn't say there's much pressure. It's pretty much just go get it done the way we have.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Fair enough. You are coming off a big stat game in this last week's win here. 23 carries, 224 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, was it just, a steady dose of toss sweep right, toss sweep left, off tackle right, off tackle left for you?
No, it was a lot of different plays, but
okay.
I'm sure that's how it looks. Everything's blocked a little bit different. We've got a lot of different like zone concepts and lead runs, and our coaches do a really good job of mixing it up, so it's super hard to defend. But yeah, it was. I got the ball quite a few times, and I was super happy with it. And I felt like I was able to start wearing the defense down by the end of the game and open up.
Okay. You guys have a big matchup this week against Brockway coming up. What have you seen so far on film that you guys could capitalize off of? What are some of the keys to a Gator victory here this coming Friday?
I think our pass defense has to stay where it's been. I feel like in the last year and a half, with the playoffs ending last season the way they did, our pass defense has been outstanding, and I trust those guys, especially our cornerbacks, Nick Wilfong, Liam Hoover, Kellen Vayu, our safeties, Brennan Fillart, and Jared Funk. They're doing a great job, and I feel like the whole team kind of trusts them, and we rely on them a little bit more than we ever have. And I'm sure, as you know, they throw the ball a lot, and we got to control the line of scrimmage and let those guys work the way they have. And then on offense, it's kind of just doing what we do, keep going. And we pretty much just figured out as the game goes on what's working and what isn't. Obviously, Mr. Lowry, our offensive coordinator, comes up with a great plan for us, and I'm sure he'll have some different things this week. But it's just sticking with what we're doing, and it's more about us than anything else.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say probably offensively you guys have had to mix things up a little bit, seeing how teams are probably keying off of you, left and right. Any little, movement you make, maybe in the backfield, splitting out, at a receiver position or maybe lining up in an H-back. I'm sure everybody's, pointing that out and making sure that everybody knows where 31's at every time on the field.
Yeah, sometimes we got a lot of explosive guys, and that's what makes our offense great is we can score with pretty much absolutely everyone on the field in a skill position. We've got great receivers, and we even rotate receivers. That's the kind of depth we have at that position, and there's so many good athletes. Nick Wilfong, Kellen Vayu, Liam Hoover. Those guys can score from anywhere. Jared Funk's back now. It's pretty awesome. So yeah.
Okay. And as, the season comes to a close here, we're going to get into playoffs here in another week. I don't know exactly where D9 stands or where, the Gators stand in terms of D9. I'm sure you guys are right up there in the single A division, one of the top 2-3 teams here in the district. But how healthy are you guys heading into postseason play here?
I'd say we're getting healthier. We lost our center, Ethan Tarbox, and he plays all over on the D line too. He's a stud for us. He's a leader on our line, and he really kind of holds things together, I'd say. And I think we've done a great job without him. But I think a lot of that should get credited to our coaches. They kind of figured out a way to get around it and kind of cover it up. But he's going to be coming back this week or the first week of playoffs, and I think that's going to help a ton. We lost Chase Boyd. He had hand surgery, but he's going to be coming back here in a few weeks, and we can't wait to have him back either. So other than that, we're pretty healthy, though. So
okay. Well, good deal. Aiden, we wish you guys the best of luck here as the regular season comes to a close, and wish you and the Gators nothing but success here as both District 9 playoffs get ready to start here, and hopefully, like I said, to you earlier in the season, hopefully we see you back in Hershey compete for a state championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, Aiden Bliss of the Port Allegany Gators. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Looking for something truly special? Step inside Mama Made on Main Street Coudersport, where every gift tells a story. From handcrafted treasures to unique finds you won't see anywhere else. Mama Made is the place to shop local, shop thoughtful, and shop with heart. Come browse, get inspired, and bring home a little sparkle from Coudersport's own Mama Made market.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm here with Isla Lehmier from the Port Allegany women's volleyball team. How you doing tonight, Isla?
Good.
First off, let's get right to it. Congrats on you guys' season. You guys have a bye. You guys play Thursday night against a winner tonight. Who's that up against? Who could you face?
AC Valley or Coudersport, which we've seen Coudersport twice now.
Okay. Again, first off, I want to say congrats on reaching 1,500 career assists. Huge accomplishment.
Thank
Uh,
you.
what does that milestone mean to you personally?
It means a lot just in the basis of working hard for what I do. I work a lot in the off season, so getting accomplishments like that, just show to me that the work I'm putting in is paying off.
So going into the season, I guess even going into your freshman year, was that something that was on your goals? Were you looking to get 1,500 assists, or was it just something that obviously just came about when you coming into the season? You thought about it. How did that? Like, was that a goal of yours, or?
It's definitely coming from freshman year. I didn't think it was even in the realm of possibilities. I played JV my freshman year, so I knew I had to work hard to get the starting spot the next year because our setter was a senior, and I remember my sophomore year we had goals for ourselves. I think it was in my English class for our sports, and my goal was to get 100.
Okay,
So definitely not something I even thought was possible.
right. Okay, yeah, you definitely overachieved that goal.
Yeah.
Um, so going into your freshman year, did you have minds on being a setter? Is that the position you wanted to play when coming to play volleyball, or did you want to play somewhere else, or how'd that come about?
Yeah, I played volleyball since junior high, so since I was in 7th grade, I've always been a setter. That's always the thing I've wanted to do.
Okay. Um, so another question here: what's something you still want to accomplish? Is there anything you still want to accomplish before your career's over at Port Allegany? Is there anything in mind? It could be team goal, individual goal. Do you have anything that you have in mind?
Well, at the beginning of the year, it was definitely winning the NTL and having a undefeated season because we've gotten so close all the years before. So this year was definitely a year that it was time to finally get it. And then now it's more of just chasing after the district title.
Okay. So now playoffs are obviously here. How's the team preparing for these upcoming playoff games? The practices, are they a little more intense? Do you guys change anything different, or is it still kind of relaxed, non-stress, just another game?
Um, yeah, it mainly is. It's pretty non-stress. We're not really looking ahead yet. We're focusing on the little things, the game we have this week rather than the game that we could have in a couple weeks. We still let ourselves have fun in practice. We still have those days where it's not so high intensity, high pressure, but then we also still have days where we know we have to be serious. We know we have to put the work in, but I think it's important to give yourself days where you can just have fun.
Okay. So coming into the season, what was the biggest thing you were most looking forward to?
Um, I would say not to emphasize playing people, but playing Otto Eldred, that's always a big game. That's something we look forward to every single year because they're a good team. It's always a close game between them. So definitely just those high pressure games where we know it could go either way. They're fun to play.
Right. Yeah, that's understandable. So again, obviously you've had a great season individually. What would you say you're the most proud of about your game?
I think for me it's my mentality. I've gotten a lot better this year at keeping myself grounded during those harder games. There's times when we've started off like down 8 points in one set or even more than that sometimes, and I think it's just important to work together and trust my team and trust myself and my abilities and know what I'm capable of. So that's definitely something I've worked on this past year, is just keeping myself calm during games.
That's the biggest thing too. You can't go having nerves is our good thing, but obviously staying cool, calm, and collective is a big
Yeah.
part of it as well. Uh, Isla, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you stopping by. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Every snap, every swing, every moment captured forever. At Paul Burdick Sports Images, we turn high school athletes into legends. trusted by Getty Images, Max Preps, the Big 30, and fans across Pennsylvania. We bring the game to life. Paul Burdick Sports Images, where every play becomes a portrait.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now is a recent Big 30 Player of the Week. He's a senior from Portville High School. It's Jake Ziegler. Jake, how you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm not too bad. So we were just talking offline before we hit record here. You had a monster game this past week. So 28 carries, 295 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground, 1 on the receiving end, and you can play defense because we just found out that you had 5 sacks. So your first play or first game of the season playing D end?
Yep, first game of the season playing D end. Yeah.
So how much fun was that last game? Did you just feel like everything was going right for you guys, and everything you did just seemed to work?
It was. I'll be honest. The first half, it was very nerve-wracking. We really expected to come out and beat Springville, just blow them out. Just shut out them on offense and just to score a ton of points. But it was way closer than we expected it to be. So I believe it was 28-34.
Okay.
Going to the into halftime, and we were nervous on the sideline. We were nervous at half, and we were just kind of discouraged because we just really didn't expect them to score that many points on us. Their QB is very athletic, very very athletic. He can throw the ball. He also is great at scrambling, getting out of the pocket, and he's definitely their biggest threat, on offense. And just he really got ahead of us there, but we were able to rebuttal at halftime, and we came out a little bit flat on defense, definitely in the first half. Our offense was going pretty good, and we just kind of got back together. And I started to play DN the second half, and it was a lot of fun, definitely to get the 5 sacks in the second half. It was great, but just really anyone could have done it. I feel like it was just the position I was put in. It just. At the DN position, but we had a great time. It was fun.
Good. So you guys seem to be peaking right at the right time of the season. I know, again, from a little pre-show interview here that we did with you, you switched positions a few weeks ago. You started out playing the season at fullback on offense, and then you switched to running back. So kind of talk us through, that transition that you guys have made from the beginning of the season until now.
Yeah, so we started out our season pretty strong. We beat our opening game Allegany, Limestone. We beat them pretty good, but they were a non-league game, and we were pretty confident before and after, and we were feeling good. We were on a high, but then we faced Chautauqua Lake and Southwestern right after, and they're powerhouse teams, and we got beat pretty good. So we just realized we gotta rebuttal. We gotta evaluate the situation, and we just really we have a lot of athletes. We just didn't know if we had them in the right spots, so we just tried people out different places, and we just switched up people from running backs to wide receivers. Adam Rowe, he's a very great athlete. He's a huge kid. He's a stud. Number 10, he went from running back to wide receiver, and he's doing great at wide receiver right now. He's doing amazing, along with Kingston Laux. Great additions to our team from the merge, and then we changed me to running back, and from there we just started to see more success. Just against Fredonia the next game, it was close, but we beat him pretty good. And definitely our QB Aiden DeFazio, he's doing great. I mean, he's had a great season, and just we were able to rebuttal and more of look at the situation and change things up to make it better for us. And we started to, get it together and kick it off, and we just started to, find our rhythm and the plays that fit for us.
Okay. And, same question, but for the defensive side of the ball, I know you said you played a little bit of linebacker. Now, making the switch to defensive end, what's it like going from a, stand-up position where you could, basically see the entire field, coming from a linebacker that made the transition down to the D-line? What's the biggest, I guess, shoot, I'm losing train of thought here. What was the biggest kind of challenge that you had, from standing up, seeing the whole side of the field, put your hand down in the dirt and really, only see it, maybe, tackle tight end ahead of you, depending on, what the offense was doing?
Yeah, so I mean, linebacker's definitely really different than DN, but fortunately, like we have a very versatile defense and like plays on like as a linebacker, we've been on the line like you blitz on the line. We have different plays for that, and
Okay.
so I've had experience with sort of the DN position like that, and we sort of have like a next man up mentality, like keep fresh legs, and it's not about who you are, but it's more about like just like if you're fresh, like if you're fresh to play. And I just realized you just got to take it like a man, and you just got to go do your best, and you just can't think about it, but you just got to do it.
That's a great attitude to have, buddy. And coming up this week, you guys have a big game on the line with CSP, and it's basically do or die for you guys. If you win, you get a chance to, have a postseason berth. Otherwise, your season's over. So, what is your coach's message been to you guys? Coming off your win this last week here, up until I know. Friday, at 6:59, I'm sure, you guys are going to have, all the nerves, all the jitters, all the butterflies that you normally have before a big game. But what is your coach's message been to you guys about this week here for preparation wise?
Our coach has been a big motivator. He's kind of just made it realistic to us that as seniors, this could be our last game. He's kind of made it like clear to us that this is playoffs, essentially. Like, playoff starts now. You win, you keep going. You lose, you're out. That's essentially the way we're thinking. We thought about that even this last week. Like, you keep going, you win. You keep going,
Okay.
You lose, you're out. So it's more of just like you just do or die. You just gotta do your best. And even it's gonna be huge. Like our line, definitely. Usually we only do as good as our line does. So our line has really stepped it up this year. We got some young guys. We got Wyatt Tyler. He's a sophomore, actually. He's playing right guard. And then we got another junior, our left tackle, James Askey. He's a junior. And then we have left guard, Ty Kaczynski. He's a senior. And then right tackle, Ian Chamberlain. He's a senior. And then we had Zach Green as a center. He's a senior, too. And then we have another center, Logan Englehart, and he's a sophomore, too. So just a lot of young kids stepping it up. And they've had some really great games against some really great teams. Like, really, the name of the team doesn't matter. The line doesn't matter. It's just about how hard they play, and they've done a great job. You can't do great without your line, and they've really brought us along the way, and you can just run the ball behind them, jam it down the throat. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they're a great line to have. They really work hard for us.
Good.
And it just really will depend on how they do. So.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys have a good week of practice here and, make it to the postseason. We want to wish you guys the best of luck. But you also talking a little bit before we hit record here, wrestling season. Give us a little preview of your upcoming wrestling season. I know you were saying you're in between which weight class you were thinking about participating in. But, what's wrestling season looking like for Portville and for you personally?
So, personally, like my goals, last year I went to the state tournament, so I got second at sectionals at 170 or 172. But really, my goals this year are to place at states, and I've been doing a ton of off-season work. Just like a ton of tournaments in the summer and a ton of practices, like 4 a week with my brothers and just with different places up in like Letchworth, and it's been a grind, but it's really a big goal for me to place at states and just do my best. And I got a lot of friends on the wrestling team. We're gonna have a lot of new kids this year coming out just to try it, and it'll be a cool atmosphere. We also got a lot of experienced kids on the team that do have a great chance of going to states, and I know they put the work in for it, so I'm excited.
All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
To answer your question, I'm in between 175 and 190.
Okay.
For weight classes.
All right. And you were also mentioning, post high school, you're thinking about potentially enrolling in the police academy, and you want to be a state trooper. So, what's that been like, or kind of gearing yourself up towards that? How do you see, what you've learned from participating and playing sports, both football, wrestling? How do you think that could help you carry on in your future endeavors here?
Well, it's sort of like a mindset sports have brought me. Like wrestling, it's more of like it's a grind, definitely, but it made me realize that the hard stuff only lasts for a little bit, and it leads to a lot of success and just happiness. So like, what you put in is what you're gonna get out, and it's more of a mentality. Like you're gonna go and do it, you might as well have a good mindset about it. And it's hard with wrestling because like it's not fun to lose. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go
Mm-hmm.
on the mat, you get your butt kicked. It's not fun. So you put all the work you can put into the sport, and you just hope to win, and you do your best. And it's brought me like that mindset. And I recently went on a ride along for the state police, and I had a great time. It definitely opened my eyes to it, so it's something I want to do.
Okay. Well, good. Jake, we wish you both the best of luck, in your future endeavors post high school and this upcoming week. So have a good game, my friend. Stay healthy, and we look forward to talking to you soon here. So go get them this Friday.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, Portville's Jake Ziegler. Thank you very much. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for supporting our show's sponsors for this week. Joining me now is the Hound and Laurel Media's JJ Michaels. He's here to talk some PA football in the Big 30 coverage area. JJ, I understand you saw one heck of a game last week between Brockway and Ridgeway.
Boy, we sure did, and thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it. A number of times during the game, Rick Porter, who's my color guy, uh, I told him, I said, this is what high school football in October is supposed to be like, and it was a deal where it was back and forth, and each team had momentum for a while. Ridgeway had a 10-point lead, uh, but Brockway, man, they hit some big plays, and they have some big play capability. They scored twice in the last 2.5 minutes to win it. They kicked a
Oh,
field
wow.
goal to tie it. And then Ridgeway couldn't muster much on offense, so they got the ball back, and then touchdown pass with 29 seconds left. Those are the tough ones to lose. They really are. But you know what? That's what high school football is about. It was the best game of the year.
Okay. Well, we're going to make some picks here for week 9. I can't believe it's already week 9 in the last week of the regular season here in the state of PA. We're going to get started here with Bradford. They make their way to Kane on Friday night at 7 o'clock.
That's a big rivalry, and I know a lot of folks from Kane. I've worked there. I worked there for many years, and I still have very close ties. It's neat to hear guys that live in Kane and work in Bradford talk about that rivalry. So, whatever the records are, you can throw them out. However, it's been a tough year for the Owls, and I feel for them. They're trying to build something. I think Kane wins this one, and I think they win it probably by 30. I would say at least.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Kane just too much for Bradford to handle. We talk week in, week out about the job that Coach Bodemer's done there
Oh,
with the Wolves. I'm gonna take
two
Kane in
years.
this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Kane in this one. I'm gonna go 35-7. Kane over Bradford. Next up on the list, Port Allegany. They're coming off a 35-7 win over Union AC Valley, a battle of two previously undefeated teams. Port Allegany again coming out with a win. They make their way to Brockway, who we just spoke about here against Ridgeway last week.
Boy, Coach Bienkowski, he's one of my favorite guys on planet Earth. He's such a great coach, such a great dude. And they have such a great program that he's built up there over the years. Funny things happen when you go to Brockway, and I don't care what the records are. Brockway's on a roll. They're coming off of this big win over Ridgeway. I still think Port Allegany is the better team, and I don't know that there's a better player than Aiden Bliss in District 9 right now. I think the Gators win this one 38-24.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to. Coach Heigel's a good friend of mine. I've been helping out the D9
Great guy.
combine that him and his staff put on here, the last couple years. It's hard to pick against him, but yeah, I think when you have the caliber of player that Aiden Bliss is, coming that close, to winning a state championship last year, I think Port Allegany takes this one. I'll go 28-14. Port Allegany over Brockway. I think Brockway puts up a good fight. I just think that Port Allegany is just a little bit too tough and have their numbers. So Port Allegany will give them regular season champs here, 10-0 season, as they get ready to do postseason battle here in District 9. Game 3 on our list features Cameron County sitting at 6-3. They make their way to Smethport, who has the opposite record of 3-6.
Well, and again, it's rivalry. Those are two schools that have a rivalry with one another. And, I look at Cameron County. They've got some great skill kids. I love the Zukel kid. He can score. He can run the ball. They can use him out of the backfield. I think that they have a pretty decent team this year, but they've been up and down a lot. Smethport almost beat Kane a couple weeks back, and that was a game that I did in Smethport on Saturday. It took a late touchdown to win it. I'm going to go off the rails here. I'm going to pick the Hubs to win it by a final of 21-20.
Wow. All right. Okay. Wow. Okay. Man, I was confident in my prediction. I was kind of going back and forth in the score in my head as you were talking. And, maybe I think I'm going to stick with Cameron County on this one. I will go a little bit closer. I'll go 28-21 Cameron County over Smethport.
It very could be.
Yeah, you kind of swayed me a little bit there. I didn't see that one coming. So kudos to you.
Jonah Gano, remember that name. That kid will be playing in the Big 30 game next year. He had a whale of a week this past week, and he's just a talent. And anytime you've got a talent like that who could make some plays happen, that's my reasoning for that. I've seen him play a couple times this year. Great kid and a phenomenal talent.
Okay. Next up on our list, as we past the halfway part here of the schedule, Countersport sitting at 2-7. They are coming off a 40-14 win over Bucktail. They host Keystone, who is sitting at 4-5.
Well, Keystone, they have some talent. Eli Nellis has been out for them, and when you couple him with Dom Corsetti, who's their quarterback, and that kid. If there was such a thing as high school fantasy football, I'd want him as my quarterback because not only can he throw it, he can run it. But without Nellis, that offense has been kind of off a little bit. And, I think that, they've struggled to find their identity without him. But that said, it's been a tough year for County. That's a long trip from Knox up to Countersport.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't think it phases them any. I think Keystone wins at 35-0.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take Keystone in this one as well. I see they're coming off a 3-point loss to Red Bank Valley, 37-34, so I'm sure they want a little retribution headed into the last week of the regular season here. I'll go 28-0 Keystone over Countersport. Keystone improves to 500 as they get ready for postseason play. Our penultimate game, St. Mary's sitting at 3-6. They host Montauk, who's also at 3-6.
Well, I've been around the Dutch. So obviously, you guys have talked with Mark and Nate. They're our other broadcast team from Laurel Media on B94. The Dutch have had a weird year. They have struggled, but then they've given Port Allegany the best effort anybody has this year. They almost beat them. They played Central Clarion okay. it's been Jekyll or Hyde with them. Uh, with Montauk, it's nice to see Montauk getting the football program back going again. They had a rough few years, they really did, and this year they've kind of, gotten themselves off the floor, so to speak. I think when it's all said and done, I think St. Mary's wins this one. I'm going to go 24-17.
Okay. You want to know what? We'll go with that score. I like it. Be good to see St. Mary's close out their season on a high note there with a win. And our last game on the schedule, I believe this is where you said you're going to be Friday night. Ridgeway, currently sitting at 5-4. They make their way to Otto Eldred, who is at 2-7.
Yeah, and the Elkers have had the tale of two seasons too. But the one thing that with Ridgeway that has happened all years, they've been competitive. They have not been blown out of any game, so to speak. They had some tough losses there early on. Red Bank caught them the first week, and it was the score was big, but they made it kind of close. But the Elkers, when they're on, they can play with anybody, and they've proven that with Union AC Valley. They almost beat them at home. And on the flip side of things, been a rough year for Otto too, and I think everybody kind of expected that. They lost a lot of talent, a lot of athletes, not only from football but their basketball team. They do have some kids that can play. I think when it's all said and done, Ridgeway wins this. I think it's close.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go 28-20. Ridgeway wins this one.
Okay, yeah. And Ridgeway's record's 4-5, so we'll correct that. That's a typo on my end there. Yeah, I like the Elkers in this one too. Like you said, Otto's just struggled too much with losing all the talent that they've had the last couple of years. I'll go 17-10. We'll go 17-10 Ridgeway over Otto Eldred.
It's
so
senior night. It's senior night for Otto, and I expect them to put up a fight. They always do.
Sure.
In their home.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for the PA side of the Big 30 coverage area. JJ Michaels from the Hound and Laurel Media, thank you, my friend, for joining us. We will be eagerly anticipating your guys' coverage on Friday for Ridgeway and Otto. So thank you very much, my friend.
Well, thank you. It's nice to meet you all. Nice to be on. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, JJ Michaels from the Hound, Laurel Media. He's going to be carrying the Ridgeway Otto Eldred game. Make sure you tune into that broadcast. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Looking for something truly special? Step inside Mama Made on Main Street Coudersport, where every gift tells a story. From handcrafted treasures to unique finds you won't see anywhere else. Mama Made is the place to shop local, shop thoughtful, and shop with heart. Come browse, get inspired, and bring home a little sparkle from Coudersport's own Mama Made market.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is time to talk some New York State football again here in the Big 30 coverage area. Joining me this week is Sam Wilson from the Olean Times Herald. Sam, how you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty well there, Ed. Enjoying the Bills bye week, which I think they probably needed pretty badly after the last couple of weeks. But yeah, so it's a quiet Sunday around here, which isn't a bad thing.
There you go. Yeah, it's always good to have those down days every now and again with the busy sports schedules going on, isn't it?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Get to enjoy a nice fall weekend.
All right. So what have you seen so far in your coverage throughout the year in the New York area for the football side of sports?
Yeah, so Ed, I've seen a game a week here, so it's been 7 weeks. Primarily, I've covered Salamanca, but I've gotten around to have seen some other teams: Randolph, Portville, Franklinville, Ellicottville, and just this past week, I watched the Olean High game, which was actually a really, really good game up against a very good Iroquois team on Friday. Watched that from live stream that the folks at PBS up there in Buffalo do. So
Okay.
yeah, I've seen a decent sampling of the Big 30 teams from New York. Still a few I haven't gotten to, but yeah, I've been able to see a number of teams, some pretty quality programs with that.
It's time to pick our football games for this week. We have an 8-game slate starting on Thursday, 7 p.m. as Silver Creek Forestville makes their way to Franklinville, Ellicottville. Sam, give us some analysis of the game, your thoughts, a score prediction, and a winner.
Sure, yeah, thanks, Ed. I think this first game of the week, this will be an important one for Franklinville, Ellicottville. They are in a little bit of a tough stretch right now. They've lost 3 straight. They've had some key injuries that have really been tough to overcome. But I think this is a good opportunity for them playing another team that's in that middle to bottom of the standings. I think they're playing at home in Ellicottville. This will be a good chance for them to win, grab a little momentum in that 5 seed in Section 6 Class D. So for my prediction, I'm going to go with Franklinville. Ellicottville wins a close one, about 20-14.
Okay. Jumping ahead to Friday, 7 games on the schedule. We're going to start with Lakeshore as they travel to Pioneer.
Yeah, Pioneer is having a pretty solid season here in Class B2 or B1. 4-2. They I believe have clinched a playoff seed, but this will be a good chance for them to solidify their standings there. Pioneers coming off a big win over a quality South Park team, 28-6 last week. Isaac Platt had a 100-yard rushing game, and the defense really came up big with 4 turnovers. I think Pioneer, looking at that, they probably continue a little bit of that momentum and win a fairly close game, let's say 28-14.
Okay. Next up on the schedule, Lackawanna makes their way to Olean.
This is another huge game for Olean. Now they have already clinched their playoff positioning, and this past week they had a really good chance to even compete for the league championship. Fortunately for the Huskies, came up just a little bit short. That was a very close game against the first place team, Iroquois. It was tied 14-14 going into the fourth quarter. Iroquois puts up 3 touchdowns in the fourth to finally put that game away. But this is a Huskies team that's withstood some key injuries, and they're playing very well at the right time. Lackawanna is a 5-1 team in the B2. I think Olean, this hate to say it about every game, but this is going to be a very close game down at Bradner Stadium. I think Olean wins, let's say 21-16.
Okay. Next up, Gowanda Pine Valley hosts Randolph on Friday.
And again, it's funny how this schedule has lined up where you have teams that are in about the same grouping, should we say, in their division. Randolph is 4-2. They have a really good chance at the 3 seed in Class D. They were pretty impressive against Cattaraugus Little Valley. Their quarterback, Jackson Morrison, had a 5 total touchdown game, 3 passing, 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, 150 passing yards. They also ran the ball pretty well with Kevin McElwain. So I think Randolph, they're playing pretty well. So honestly is Gowanda. But I think Randolph, looking at how they've been playing lately, I'll go Randolph 33-20.
Okay. Next up on the list, Allegany Limestone Hinsdale makes their way to Cattaraugus Little Valley.
Yep, and this is another game where 2 teams are pretty bunched up in the standings. Both teams looking for their first league win. Allegany Limestone looking for their first win overall in their return season to 11-man football. There, I think, Cattaraugus Little Valley, the scores may not indicate it. They have been playing some pretty quality football. They have a couple quality players that honestly could be in contention for the Big 30 team. They're on their home field, but I'm going to go with Allegany Limestone here. And again, we'll say it's a close game. Let's say Allegheny Limestone 14-13.
Wow. Okay, nail biter. I like it. Should make for a good
That's
football
right.
game here this Friday. Next up on the list, Salamanca, your main coverage team for this year, makes their way to Chautauqua Lake, Westfield, and Brockton on Friday.
Yeah, this is another big game for the playoff seeding. Salamanca right now they're 4-2 in their Class C South games. They're going to Chautauqua Lake, who's had a very strong season in the first year for Coach Harper out at Chautauqua Lake. And honestly, these coaches know each other very well because Coach Chad Bartosik from Salamanca has faced Harper when he was at Sherman, Panama, and it looks that Harper has really gotten Chautauqua Lake into contention already in Class C. Salamanca they had 2 straight losses, and you're kind of wondering where's this season going to go. Could this kind of snowball? They avoided that. They beat Fredonia pretty emphatically, 44-12. Their quarterback Peyton Bradley had a big game, along with the running back Connor Steely. It really was just a quality bounce back win for them. Now they're going into one of their toughest tests of the season with Chautauqua Lake, Westfield, Brockton. I'm going to give the slight edge to Chautauqua Lake here, so especially on their home field. We'll say 28-16.
Okay. Our penultimate game, Portville hosts CSP at 7 o'clock.
And yeah, speaking of CSP, speaking of the C South this year, this is an enormous matchup. Portville seems to be playing their best football at the right time of year, which is something we've seen in recent years for them with Josh Brooks in leading the program as the coach. They just had what has to be the biggest offensive game for one of the New York teams in the Big 30 this week, beating Springville 68-34. That's a game that Portville actually trailed 20-7 after the first quarter, scored 5 touchdowns in the second quarter. Jake Ziegler, the running back there, ended up
Wow.
having a massive game for Ziegler with almost 300 yards, 295 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns. And that's not all. That's a big game on offense. He also was credited for 5 sacks on defense. Ziegler playing some really good football on both sides of the ball.
I'll say.
CSP, yeah. CSP, they're a quality program. They are both teams go into this week 3-3 in Class D league play. It's going to be huge for just who makes the playoffs in Class C South, and where they might end up seated even in that 2, 3, 4 out of C South. I'm going to just looking at the way Portville has particularly been running the ball of late, it's hard to pick against them. I'm going to go with Portville 34-21.
Okay. And our last game on the schedule, Wellsville makes their way to Alexander Pembroke Friday evening, 7 o'clock as well.
Yes, Wellsville, Genesee Valley, Belfast, or I think they're officially Wellsville, but they've got the 2 other Allegheny County schools that have been a part of their program for the last 2 years now, and it's been a pretty quality, promising bounce back season for Wellsville in that they're returning to 11-man football. They have had a couple of tough results. They lost a close game to East Rochester, Gananda 24-14 last week. And now the challenge doesn't get any easier. They're going to face a first place team with Alexander, and Wellsville. They're coming in 4-3. This would be a chance to finish with a winning record in the regular season. However, it is going to be hard to pick against Alexander. We'll call it a close game. We'll go with 27-21 for Alexander.
Okay. I like it. Well, Sam, thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule to join us to make picks here for
Of
this
course, thank
upcoming
you,
week.
Ed.
Why
Thanks
don't
for
you tell
having me.
everybody? Yeah, why don't you tell everybody out there on the internet land where you'll be Friday evening, so they could follow along with your coverage and then read about it the following day.
Yeah, I believe these plans can change, but I believe the plan is to get out to Portville to see that massive game that they have against Clymer Sherman, Panama, and you can find my work. I am on social media at Sam Wills, WILS, on Twitter X, but mostly you can find my writing in the Times Herald, oleantimesherald.com. And of course in the print editions 5 days a week. So yeah, happy to join you, Ed. Thanks for inviting me for this week, and happy to talk some football with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody, this is Sam Wilson, Olean Times Herald. He's a big asset to the Big 30 and the Big 30 committee. So, Sam, again, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey sports fans, I'm Dr. Freeman here at Alleghany Mountain Wellness and Alleghany Mountain Fitness. If you're dealing with some of those nagging injuries during your sports season, or you're just a spectator that's tired of a tired back while you're sitting in the stands, come see me for all your chiropractic needs. We've got all kinds of tools to deal with those sore muscles and get rid of those aches and pains, get you back in the game.
And now for this week's Players of the Week. At number 3 is Salamanca's Connor Seeley. Connor rushed for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. At number 2, Portville's Jake Ziegler. Jake produced 295 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns and had 5 sacks on the defensive side of the ball. And at number 1, who else but Port Allegany's Aiden Bliss. Bliss scored twice and rushed for 224 yards in the Gators' 35-7 win over Union AC Valley. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Beagle, founder of Beagle Media LLC, and I'm proud to be working with the Big 30. My role is to help local businesses share their story through the power of video. I do that by coming to your business and you show me what makes you special. I take that special and I craft it into a polished commercial that we show on our show and that you can show on your social media platforms. I've already been able to help 2 businesses located in Caterpillar, Pennsylvania, Mama's Made and Alleghany Mountain Fitness and Wellness, and it's been amazing to see their stories come to life on the screen, and your business can be next. But this is just more than advertising. When you support the Big 30, your business is stepping up and supporting local athletes and schools to help make this community what it is. Not only will your business be aired on our weekly shows, but we can also come in and interview you so the community can see the face behind your business and the support that you show for the community. Every business that supports the Big 30 is helping maintain scholarships, help spotlight local athletes, and help keep the tradition going on for future generations. Every time someone sees your commercial, they'll know that you're a business that cares and gives back to the community. So if you're looking for an opportunity to grow your business and give back, this is it. Contact 219-508-8094 or email me at beaglemedia98@gmail.com. Promote your business, support your community, and be part of the Big 30.
Thank you for tuning in to tonight's show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with your family and friends, and make sure they check out the Circle W Sports Showcase Spotlight.
Big thank you to this week's sponsors, Lindamuth Excavating, Zippo Manufacturing, 3 Point Financial Solutions, Team Minard, B&T Building Services, American Refining, Closes Lumber, Jim Coast Sales and Service, Lynch Radkowski Funeral Home, Alleghany Mountain Fitness. If you or your business would like to be included in our weekly show, reach out to stats at circlewsports.com. Good luck to all the teams this week.